Good morning, afternoon, or evening as the case may be in your part of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and foes, I'm Zen Archer. I'm actually doing an Ask Zen that is a little different, Ask Zen Archer, that is a little different than any of the other ones because I'm getting a lot of questions and a lot of comments regarding what my belief system is, asking mostly, what do you call what it is that you believe, or does it have a name? Are you agnostic? Are you Christian? Are you Buddhist? Are you Hindu? What is it that you believe? What is this called, this idea that you have? And I can only answer that there is no, up until now, or up until recently, there really isn't a definition of, at least I don't know of a definition of what it is that I believe. I draw my influences, as many of you know, from a number of sources. I grew up Southern Baptist. I went to Lutheran school. I've attended Catholic Church. I've read books on Buddhism, and I've read some Hindu texts. I have a friend that goes to a Unitarian church or a Unity church. I understand they may be different. I don't know a lot about that church. But my belief is a belief that I've come to in a process of looking at all of these things and investigating all of these things. Investigating them deep enough to draw some understanding from them and to find a place that I'm comfortable. I've learned along the way a lot of things that help me cope with the world in general and be happy with my convictions and what it is that I believe and how I deal with those things. I do practice Tai Chi. I don't do it daily or monthly or weekly on any kind of a ritual basis. I do it when the mood suits me. I do meditate daily, sometimes only for minutes, at other times for hours on end. So what do I call this? How do I tell you? How do I label it so that you understand? I think many of you already do understand because you've heard me talk. But I'm going to coin a phrase since I've basically created what it is that I do by looking at a number of different sources. So who better to coin a phrase to try to make it more understandable to people than for me to do it myself. So I've chosen to call it Karma Zen. Sounds very enlightening, doesn't it? It really doesn't mean a whole lot. But I chose to use those words in order to describe what it is that I'm trying to do here in making the world a better place, by offering whatever guidance or whatever enlightenment or whatever you can get out of what I've put out here for you. I've chosen the words Karma Zen because karma is something that you already have a preconceived notion of. You understand karma. You understand the yin and the yang of karma. You already have a preconceived notion of how one thing affects another thing, which is probably the deepest seated part of what I believe. I use Zen not really in a Buddhist sense, because Zen would be a Buddhist thing, but I use Zen because people, when they hear the word, understand that word to mean that there is some quietness, that there is some meditation involved, that there is some serious meditation involved, that it's not just sitting thinking, or sitting without thought. So I thought, what do I call what it is I do? And the two words that came to me that makes it understandable by the general public, if I were to explain it, which this is new for me, explaining my beliefs and how I come about them, and the spirituality that they give me is something new. I've up until YouTube, I've only shared that with very close friends, people who didn't feel threatened by it, and then many times people who were trying to sway me towards their vision of different organized religions. But you understand the words. If I say what I believe in is karma Zen, you understand that I believe that there's an equal inaction for each action, that there's a yin and a yang. You automatically understand that. When I say Zen, you understand that I'm talking about a meditation, that I'm talking about, and sometimes a ritualized meditation, but many times not. Many times just a time to meditate. And meditate doesn't mean to sit without thought. Meditate doesn't mean to sit and think about things in life. That's not meditation. That's thinking. It's calm thinking, but that's not meditation. So, this has been a very lengthy explanation of why I've chosen to designate what it is I do as Karma Zen. What does that mean? Well, I draw my inspiration from a number of sources. Most organized religions believe in making the world a better place. And I believe in that. And that means that in order to practice, we won't call it a religion, we'll call it a practice. In order to practice Karma Zen, our new word, you can be a Christian, or you can be Islamic, or Muslim, or Jewish. You can be from any part of the world. You can be Spanish or Italian or Greek or American or English and nothing that I teach, if you want to call it teaching, nothing in this practice challenges your belief in a God, in a supreme being, or in a natural power. You can be pagan and still practice Karma Zen. So it's non-threatening in that way. It is if nothing else, is a tool to make you feel better about yourself, better about the world, and better about life in general. To find a spiritual place in you, a place that's calm, that's understanding, that's tolerant. I do have some beliefs about higher powers, but they may surprise you. I know, I believe, at the center of my being, that there is something that holds this whole thing together. That there is a natural glue that holds the universe together. I totally believe that. I choose not to see that as God. However, another person may look at that and say, well, of course that's God. I choose not to believe that there are many gods, and that's just a choice that I make. There are people of iniquity that have, worship a god for the sun, and a god for the moon, and a god for the day, and a god for the night, and a god for the water, and a god for the trees, and a god for the woods, and a god for the forest, and a god for the bear, and a god for the chipmunk. I believe it's all one God, if I can use the term as loosely. But I don't believe I don't call it God. I call it a power. I call it nature. And I think there is a divine evolution, and there is a divine plan, if you will, that people will continue on. So if you want to believe that the thing that I believe in that holds the universe together is a person who sits in heaven and makes decisions about when you do right and when you do wrong, the practice of Karma Zen is open to that, and you're more than welcome to consider that God. If you're someone who doesn't believe in God at all, you're welcome to walk with me in the practice of Karma Zen and believe that it's just nature. It's just the way things are. It's just the way it all works. So this doesn't threaten your religion in any way, no matter what your religion might be. It shouldn't threaten your religion, but perhaps give you an inner peace and a spirituality, and I mean that in a me kind of way, in a you kind of way, inside you. Gives you that calmness that you may be looking for. I don't think I preach. I don't intend to preach. All I intend to do is to show you this thing that I practice that has made me comfortable in my life, to hold it up as an example and say, this is me. This is what I do, and this is how I cope. And it's working for me. It may not work for you, but this is what I do. And if you can take any piece of that and use it in your own life, and it helps you find calmness and peace, then that's a good thing. And it takes nothing away from your religion. It takes nothing away from you personally. And it may give you everything. It may be the key that you need to unlock the door that you've yet to open. I'm not a monk. I'm weak too, and I have my moments of doubt and despair and anger. I'm lucky in that I have the will to step away from it, to step out of the picture and try to look at myself and what I'm doing and how I'm doing it and a temperance to come to a decision that I believe is equally benefiting everyone. I recently heard a vlog by someone who said that they thought that, the karma and all of that stuff was a bunch of horse shit. If I were worried about it, that probably would have upset me, but I don't hold this up for you to embrace wholly and follow Zen Archer into spiritualism. I just say this is what works for me. This is what I found that works for me. And if you can use part of it and it makes your life better, then that lets me do my part. It lets me do what I believe and help to make the whole world a better place, one person at a time. YouTube's given me a forum to do that on, a forum I've never had before. And I welcome you to challenge me if you like. I think debate is good. I welcome you to question me about my beliefs, if you like. Maybe those will cause me to question myself. But whatever the outcome, I believe it's meant to be. And so I welcome you. With my arms open, with my heart open, and with my mind open. And so, to answer all of those who have asked me, are you a Christian? Are you a Buddhist? Are you pagan? My answer is none of these. I simply practice something that I term Karma Zen. And now I've tossed that word out to you. Perhaps you will better understand where I'm coming from if you understand, if I can put a label on what it is that I practice. So I'll leave you with that tonight to think about. I hope that you'll watch more than once and listen to the words and what's between the words and understand better. And perhaps in the future when I do videos and I say this or that or the other, when I quote the King James Version of the Bible, only then to turn around and quote parts of the Quran, you'll understand that both are my Bible and neither are. So I bid you peace, enlightenment, and above all, be well. This is Zen Archer.